two particles. Yes.
These flexible screen you showed earlier, what's the current wholesale price?
We don't have a, so the reason we're selling it to vertical markets is that you can sell it as not necessarily a individual piece of hardware, but a service, if you will. And so, one of the biggest things that we end up, one of the discussions you start talking to people about is obviously the cost of the hardware, but then it's the operating system that goes into it. And so what we're going to end up doing, because we aren't experts in that, so we end up partnering with people who do some of the work on the user interface, and so it becomes much more complicated. So it's not just one. You're not just selling the hardware. You're selling the hardware with some operating system, and so I don't have a price for that. It really depends on the individual situation.
And does it have to be flat? Does it have to be a flat substrate, or can you have? Because I guess it's down to the printing on it, so you could theory print something that is.
We would certainly make it flat initially, but could you then introduce a conformal type of, or some sort of bend in it? The answer is yes. I mean, so we can certainly do that.
Can you paint it with more than one plane?
Probably a curved surface would be the easiest for us to do. I mean, we would want to stay away from any sort of very tight bend radiuses, so that we would have to limit the bend radius at some point. I mean, we can have a discussion on what that actual figure is. Because I don't think we actually have it. We would have to do some studies. But I think it's very easy. I think it's a relatively simple step forward for us to make a conformal display product. So, yes?
Whatever the context of achieving video, is it a matter, so achieving a high frame rate, is it a matter of the physical properties of those particles, or is it a particle?
So there's two complications. So the first one is this technology, the e-ink technology, is not suitable for video rate because it's viscosity limited. So you have liquid and the particles have to move all the way up and down the entire cell, and so it's just too slow. So that's the problem with this display technology. Now, if you talk about the pixels that drive the technology, I think as Peter was alluding to earlier, the organic materials or the plastic materials have always been behind the silicon technology that has been used for glass. And so historically we haven't been able to do the same speeds as silicon. However, that is changing and pretty much is changing now. So now I think we can start using similar type technologies and drive at similar speeds. The OLED example is a specifically challenging display effect to drive. I mean, it's a